I'm the only lover by Jason's side. One day, I saw a flirty message pop up on his phone screen. Babe, meet me at our usual spot tonight. I froze for a second before calmly locking his phone. The man works himself to exhaustion daily. Who am I to complain if he wants some company? Don't get me wrong. With Jason's sculpted 8-pack, that V-line waist, and a face that puts Hollywood heartthrobs to shame, admirers line up from here to Paris. As his kept woman, my hardship comes with a 7-figure monthly allowance. Why would I rock this golden boat? Smart girls know better than to bite the hand that feeds them. Jason emerged from his study and draped himself over the couch beside me. While half watching the trashy reality show I had on, he picked up his phone. Suddenly, his brows furrowed as he tapped out a reply. My 2020 vision copped a response. Got it. Oh, the young master's skipping curfew tonight? Looks like this cat's ready to play. Tamping down my excitement, I brought him a glass of water with my best concerned look. Instead of drinking, Jason pulled me into his lap, nuzzling my neck like some oversized house cat. His sleep-roughened voice murmured, "Dinner meeting tonight. Wanna come?" Yeah, right. Not crashing your romantic rendezvous. Last thing I need is to become part of your kinky roleplay. Business stuff makes me nervous. I demurred, fluttering my lashes. He hummed non-committally, content to scent mark me for 10 more minutes before grabbing his jacket. The second his car left the driveway, I was speed dialing my bestie for our girls' night out. Since when does your sugar daddy let you roam free? She teased at the club entrance. I shamelessly eyeballed the new DJ's chiseled abs. Jason's busy playing grown-up. My turn for fun. Her next words froze my cocktail halfway to lips. Heard through the grapevine you're getting engaged? The ice cubes clinked violently. What? Chad from the country club said Jason's planning some big engagement bash. Who knew you'd actually bag the Smith heir? I drained my martini, the burn down my throat matching my racing thoughts. News to me too. I finally croaked. Our contract was crystal clear: play the doting girlfriend for his parent-pleasing facade, warm his bed nights. Marriage was never part of the deal. If he's really tying the knot, where does that leave me? 2 tequila shots later, I stumbled toward the dance floor to sweat out the panic. That's when the commotion at the entrance started. I instinctively looked up as a group of young people entered the bar. A tall man with aristocratic bearings stood out under the neon lights, his genetically blessed features drawing every eye. The entourage instinctively orbited him like planets around a sun. Holy shit, Jason wasn't supposed to be here. Didn't he have some midnight rendezvous planned? Our eyes locked when he suddenly glanced in my direction. I immediately ducked down into the booth, holding my breath. This was bad. My carefully cultivated image as his sweet, innocent girlfriend would shatter if he saw me chain smoking and downing tequila shots here. Shooting a desperate look at my best friend grinding on the dance floor, I grabbed my purse ready to bolt for the restroom. Survival first, I'd slip out once Jason and his crew moved to their private lounge. Except they didn't. The entire group settled into the adjacent VIP booth, laughter and clinking glasses drawing every gold digger's attention. Frozen in the shadows, I only dared peek when servers delivered their bottle service. Of course, Jason chose the seat directly facing mine, his razor-sharp profile tilted towards some brunette whispering in his ear. I ducked again, mentally screaming, one wrong move and he'd spot me for sure. Their conversation carried over the bass line, not drinking tonight. Jay? Nah. You guys go ahead. All right. We know Miss Prissy hates alcohol breath. Then why ask? Jason's lazy baritone held amusement as he toyed with his phone. Excuse me, gotta check on my girl. Catcalls erupted as my brain short-circuited. Since when did I ever complain about liquor? That bastard had another woman. My purse chose that moment to blare Taylor Swift's shrill chorus. Panicking, I fumbled to silence the device only to freeze at the caller ID. Jason. Why the hell was he calling? My trembling fingers hovered over decline. 10:15 p.m. my usual shower time. He'd buy that excuse. The ringing stopped. Peeking through my hair, I saw Jason studying his screen with unreadable intensity. Now's my chance. I began sliding out of the booth when some drunk frat boy materialized. Whoa there. Gorgeous. Need help getting up? His whiskey breath fogged my personal space. I'm fine. I hissed through clenched teeth. But your face is all red. Let me dash. That's rage. Not alcohol. I snapped. Ice dripping from my voice. Leave. Now. The arrogant dude smirked, opening his mouth to retort when Jason's distinctive chuckle cut through the noise. Every hair on my neck stood up. Shit. He was walking straight toward us. Hey. What's wrong with hanging out with your bro? Quit playing hard to get. He leaned in to grab me, his sleazy move drawing curious stares. My panic spiked when Jason's icy voice cut through behind the cocky dude. Didn't you hear her say get lost? I froze, then squeezed my eyes shut. Shit just hit the fan big time. When Jason got that murderous look, it felt like he could clear out 3 city blocks with his glare alone. The guy slunk away, leaving me utterly screwed. I scrambled to explain, but Jason just gave me this loaded look before telling his friends at the booth he was leaving. Heart pounding, I chased after him without even telling my girl. The car ride was torture. He floored the accelerator the second my seatbelt clicked, pinning me to the leather. I stayed mute, mentally rehearsing apology speeches. How do you calm a human grenade? Claim temporary demonic possession? Say I was just passing by? When we got home, Jason hauled me over his shoulder before I could slink away. Jason, his shoulder dug into my ribs until I squirmed. A warning smack landed on my backside. Keep wriggling like that and we'll be pulling an all-nighter. Heat flooded my face. Sometimes I swear this man's stamina should be illegal. If history books didn't say otherwise, I'd think he single-handedly built the pyramids overnight. Later, freshly showered, I hesitated to curl against him like usual. My toes curled imagining our bar scene replay. Emily. His voice rumbled behind me. I turned slowly, half expecting him to break out the punishment belt. Instead, Jason looked at me with that infuriating half-smirk, all sharp jawline and bedroom eyes. He tugged me against his chest. Sleep. No lecture? I peeked up. His arm tightened. Unless you'd rather stay up working off that bar act. I buried my flaming face in his shirt. Note to self, never test a Smith man's patience. Or his stamina. I immediately averted my gaze and played dead. But driven by intense curiosity, I cautiously ventured a question. Jason Smith. He lifted his eyelids, giving me that signature icy stare. I quickly amended my address. Honey, aren't you mad about the bar incident? Jason simply pulled me closer against his chest, uttering those loaded words, you think I'm stupid? His statement nearly fried my brain. What did he mean? Had he known all along I wasn't some delicate girl? Why hadn't he called me out? Did rich guys prefer this type of mistress? Should I keep up the act or drop it? Damn. This gig was tougher than expected. How should I play this? Filled with existential crisis, I eventually drifted into restless sleep. My dreams dragged me back to our first meeting, a scene straight out of trashy romance novels. Back then I was just another broke Ivy League student hustling multiple jobs. By some cosmic joke, I landed a tutoring gig in the billionaire enclave of Greenwich. During one session, I went to fetch water and nearly drooled over an 8-figure Rothko. I thought it could have funded years of male escorts while rounding the corner, and collided with perfection. Jason stood leaning against the hallway, porcelain coffee cup in hand, his profile so sculpted it belonged on museum pedestals. Hearing my approach, those heavy-lidded eyes lazily tracked my movement. My brother's tutor? I hastily swallowed my drool and nodded. Yes, sir. He merely hummed in acknowledgement, radiating aristocratic aloofness. I scurried away without another word. Later, As I trudged toward the Uber zone, a Maybach purred to my side. Through the tinted window, Jason's obsidian eyes pinned me. "Let me drive you home, Emily." Against all logic, I accepted. Thus began our ritual, him appearing like clockwork after each tutoring session to chauffeur me back to campus. By the third week, I started wondering if this trust fund prince had chronic boredom syndrome. "Don't flatter yourself," I chided. "Billionaire heirs don't pursue scholarship girls from Queens. Self-awareness being my finest survival skill. See? Then came the debt collectors. They ambushed us en route to my dorm, leering goons shouting about daddy's debts. My stomach dropped. Of all days for my baggage to surface. Emily's creditors? Jason's voice turned arctic. He stepped between me and the thugs. All 6'3" of tailored menace. "You talking to her? Who the fuck re you? Gonna pay her debts?" Jason didn't blink. "Try touching her. I'll enjoy watching my lawyers dismantle your lives." The mobsters scattered like roaches. That's when I realized this wasn't boredom. Jason had just declared war for me. I grew even more frantic, hastily pushing Jason away, only for him to grab my hand. His large palm felt warm against mine. "How much?" "I'll pay her debt." That night, Jason calmly settled my 6-figure liabilities. Before I could process what happened, the thugs left satisfied. I stared at Jason with mixed emotions. "Thank you, Mr. Smith." He released my hand and casually remarked, "Emily, consider this debt forgiven. Though I won't help for free, I need you as my girlfriend. My mother keeps nagging about marriage. And you'd make her happy." The statement sounded oddly ambiguous. After hesitating, I reluctantly agreed. Still, I insisted on repaying him despite my financial struggles. Without argument, Jason produced a relationship contract. Clause 3. 2 jumped out during MS. Emily's repayment period. The romantic relationship with Mr. Jason cannot be terminated arbitrarily. All customary couple interactions must be maintained. I signed without reading further, thus beginning my faux girlfriend tenure. Jason accepted my payments yet wired me $100,000 monthly as allowance, what I considered highly improper. This money transformed me from thrift store regular to financially independent woman. I suppressed my quirky personality, dutifully playing the role of the young master's fake lover, fending off his parents' matchmaking efforts and warding off gold diggers. Obedient. Discreet. 5 years passed. Sometimes I almost believed I was Jason's true love. Post-bar incident. Our dynamic shifted subtly. Though Jason rarely took me to nightclubs before, he now paraded me at every gathering. While maintaining his aloof facade, he'd playfully caress my hand under tables. Our late-night sessions intensified exponentially, making me consider bulk ordering energy supplements. Jason's increasingly bold behavior confused me. Wasn't he getting engaged? Why still glued to my side? How could his real fiancée tolerate this? As we lay entangled one night, Jason murmured against my skin, "Emmy, come to the island next month. The crew's all going." What? His fingers traced my earlobe. Problem? Catching his odd tone, I quickly acquiesced. "Of course. I'm free anytime." "Good. Just go and have a good time." Assuming this was routine rich kid vacationing, I kissed his cheek and drifted off. In my sleep, familiar fingers kept tracing mine, making me squirm closer to the warm chest beside me. Strong arms tightened around me. While leisurely packing beachwear days later, life threw a curveball. One day, I was waiting for Jason at a restaurant when a woman carrying a Hermes limited edition bag sat down across from me with an air of superiority. Blinking sleepily, I stared in confusion. Who was this lady? Wrong table? She gave me a once-over with undisguised contempt, her acrylic lashes nearly detaching as she sneered. "MS. Emily." I presume? I'm Jason's fiancée. We need to talk. I froze. Jason's fiancée? What could she possibly want? Simple. She smirked, sliding a check across the table. Leave Jason. Name your price. Pick any property. Just be sensible and disappear. I might even forgive your little indiscretions. I set my glass down with a clink and sighed dramatically. Girl, you have no idea how long I've waited for this moment. I've memorized wire transfer protocols for this exact scenario. Flashing my most obsequious grin, I leaned forward. So, truly anything I want? The woman blinked at my sudden shift but recovered quickly. Naturally. Then What exactly? An icy voice cut through the air. Do you think you're doing? My blood turned to slush. Damn it. Why did Jason always materialize whenever I schemed? The man had better surveillance than the NSA. Survival instincts kicked in. Swiveling toward the socialite, I declared with performative righteousness. I'd never abandon Jason. Your money means nothing. He's my everything, my sunrise. Enough. Jason's fingers closed around my nape, his thumb brushing my cheekbone in full view of his sputtering fiancée. His glacial gaze shifted to her. Ms. Wang. When exactly did I acquire this betrothed status? During your nap? But our families agreed. Ah yes. The legendary Wang Smith Dream Summit. His laugh held knives. Here's reality, if you're this eager for wedding cake. Save the date. My actual engagement party's next month. My breath hitched. So there was a real fiancé, just not this pretender. The realization sat like unripe wine, all sharp edges without the promised sweetness. But I didn't dare show it. Obediently trailing behind Jason. Surprisingly, Jason wasn't satisfied. After getting in the car, he didn't start driving immediately. With a stormy expression, he asked, Emily, don't you have anything to ask me after what she said? My mind raced. But I only squeaked out timidly. Honey, aren't we finishing dinner? Jason, ha. He chuckled humorlessly, his smile not reaching his eyes as he sighed. Do you only think about eating and sleeping? When someone provokes you, don't you want to fight back? You know I don't dare. Hopeless. I forced a laugh and leaned over to kiss him. Jason didn't pull away, his grip on my waist tightening until I nearly gasped. Deep down, I knew what he wanted me to ask. But I couldn't. The truth might shatter this fragile arrangement. His engagement was still a month away, if I played my cards right. I'd walk away with $1 million. Why risk it now? Sighing dramatically, I justified my cowardice as financial prudence. Nobody sane would spit on easy money. In the following days before our vacation, Jason clearly held a grudge, witnessing my daily routine of naps and snacks. He issued an icy decree, make lunch for me every noon. I gaped. Even pigs would rather starve than eat my cooking. Tying his tie, he shot me a withering glance. Then learn. I'll eat whatever you make. Reluctantly agreeing, I privately wondered if the Smith heir had masochistic tendencies. Before leaving, he added offhandedly, there's a family banquet this weekend. Someone will come take your measurements for a gown. Nodding meekly, I dove into cookbooks after the tailor left. By the time I nearly burned down the kitchen, I'd produced something. Proudly clutching my culinary crime against humanity, I headed to Smith Enterprises, located in the heart of the financial district. Jason's empire intimidated me. I rarely visited except for occasional paparazzi stunts, preferring the low-maintenance girlfriend act. The receptionist ushered me to the CEO's private elevator, fueling my momentary delusions of corporate grandeur. Finding Jason absent, his secretary directed me to wait in his office. Perched nervously on the sofa, I remembered my first visit as his fake girlfriend, employees' curious stares burning holes in my composure. Jason had kindly spared me repeat performances. Until today's lunchbox whim. Men. More unpredictable than crypto markets. After waiting for what felt like ages, bored out of my mind, I began snooping around Jason's office. The 6-figure desk, 5-figure sofa, and minimalist decor screamed old money. Unable to resist, I peeked at his desk computer. Stacked files, water cup, and an ornate frame. My breath caught. Wait! Was that a photo of me and Jason? The faded picture showed us years younger, pressed shoulder to shoulder with his arm disappearing behind my waist in that familiar possessive grip. My nervous smile leaned into him while he glowed with liquid confidence, those bedroom eyes sparkling beneath perfectly tousled hair. The memory surfaced: Housie's birthday party during our fake dating era. His friends chanting Emily, Emily, until our cheeks burned from forced smiles and flash photography. I'd later asked Jason about this particular shot, only to be casually dismissed with "they never sent it to me." Yet here it sat on his executive desk. Edges slightly yellowed. My finger traced the glass as my pulse quickened. Why would an engaged man display his mistress's photo so brazenly? The dangerous thought slithered in: what if I meant more? Yawning from last night's activities, I curled into his Italian leather sofa. Through sleep-fogged senses, I heard the door click open. His secretary's briefing abruptly hushed when Jason entered. Expedite the custom engagement ring. His hushed baritone vibrated through paperwork rustles. Confirm the tux measurements. The island ceremony needs to launch immediately after the proposal. Yes, Mr. Smith. I clenched my eyes shut, nails digging crescents into my palms. So this was how eagerly he'd claim his proper bride: back-to-back proposal and tropical engagement banquet. The following days showed Jason glowing with pre-vacation fervor, taking hushed balcony calls about floral arrangements or caterers while I counted down to our final getaway. 2 days until he'd sail off to permanently anchor in another woman's harbor, using our last stolen moments to rehearse romantic gestures meant for her. I let out a long sigh, wondering how I could gracefully chow down at the engagement party without embarrassing myself. This dilemma had kept me awake for days with its sheer absurdity. Defeated, I followed Jason to board the private jet reserved for these wealthy heirs. The moment we met the trust fund crowd, a sunbeam of a guy came barreling toward Jason. "Hubby!" he cooed with theatrical flair. For a heartbeat, I thought I'd uncovered Jason's deepest secret. Holy shit. Was this the same guy who'd texted about hotel hookups? Had Jason needed a fake girlfriend to keep up appearances? You sneaky gaze. Just as my jaw hit the floor, Jason kicked the guy away like discarded takeout. The hell's wrong with you? Come on, Jay. You never react when I call you hubby in texts. The human golden retriever bounced back, grinning. That's why it's so fun to mess with you. Because you're not worth the energy. Jason snapped, though the eye roll lacked real venom. Their easy banter spoke of years-old friendship. Wait. Messing with him? Jason caught my bewildered expression. Emily. He drawled, lips quirking. You didn't actually believe that nonsense, did you? 18. I turtled into my seat as stone-faced Jason boarded the jet. The human sunshine scrambled to explain. Emmy. Total joke. I'm Kyle, Jay's childhood friend. Just got back from Europe, prankster habit. You know? I peeked at Jason's thundercloud expression and nodded frantically. Crystal clear. Kyle exhaled in relief. Thank God you're chill. Wouldn't want to ruin your enga. Kyle. Jason's warning kick cut him off mid-word. The kicked puppy look lasted half a second before Kyle's smirk returned. Right. My bad. He vanished into the party cabin, baffled but determined. I turned to soothe the grumpy air. My shocked reaction had clearly stung. However this ended, I refused to leave things sour. Because I loved him. From that first glimpse in his marble kitchen, this sucker for pretty faces had been doomed. I'd embraced the sugar baby arrangement, secretly hoping for a fairy tale ending where fake feelings became real. But now it seems I was overthinking. With a pang of bitterness, I rarely summoned the courage to grab Jason's hand, clinging to secret hopes that'd never materialize. Jason's previously stormy expression softened, his features relaxing into tenderness. He turned to press a resigned kiss to my temple. "Emily, you're such a fool," he murmured, the affection in his voice twisting my heart tighter. Yes. I was the idiot secretly pining for her own sugar daddy. At the island resort, Jason vanished into work. I stayed sulking in the hotel, mood darker than storm clouds. Briefly considered chugging 2 bottles of liquid courage to crash whatever proposal he was planning, not that I'd actually do it. One evening, Jason's absence stretched unusually long. Through the hotel's floor-to-ceiling windows, I spotted beachside preparations, twinkling lights, rose petals. Another proposal? Was there a Groupon for romantic gestures here? My phone buzzed. Jason's text read, "Emmy, come to the beach." Bewildered, I trudged downstairs. Then magic happened, a dozen Adonises materialized, each handing me roses with knowing smirks. My confusion morphed into dawning realization, heartbeat syncopating like jazz drums. This resembled those cheesy proposal setups from rom-coms. Stumbling onto the sand, I found Jason haloed by fairy lights where the romantic setup stood. He looked like a GQ cover model surrounded by grinning friends. So the proposal was his after all. Jason crooked his finger at me like summoning a golden retriever. "Emmy." His voice cracked. I inched forward, pulse roaring. "Emily." He swallowed hard, eyes glistening. "You've probably guessed. From that first moment you burned toast in my kitchen 5 years ago, I want forever with you." My knees buckled as he knelt, producing a diamond the size of a glacier. "Emily, marry me." Cue mental fireworks. An entire 4th of July parade exploded behind my eyeballs. Jason, proposing, to me? The world narrowed to his nervous smile and our friend's chance of say yes. It took 3 eternities before I choked out. "You're the billionaire. Why aren't you worried about gold diggers?" Laughter rippled through the crowd. Jason's lips quirked as he slid the ring onto my shaking hand. "Emmy, you literally tried to pay me back for dinner our 3rd date. Now shut up and kiss your fiancé." Trembling, I stammered. "So stories about mistresses becoming official really do happen in real life." The surrounding area fell into dead silence the moment those words left my lips. I watched in real time as Jason's expression morphed from nervousness to utter confusion, then to complete disarray, finally shattering entirely, all at rocket speed. Eventually, he laughed. A bitter, exasperated chuckle. He glared at me through gritted teeth. "What the hell is this mistress nonsense now?" Timidly, I offered. "Weren't we in that kind of arrangement before? With the contract and everything? Now that the proposal worked out, this is just me moving up from mistress status." Jason took a deep breath, visibly restraining himself from throttling me. Sensing danger, I tentatively asked, "Isn't that the case?" He stood abruptly, sliding the massive diamond ring onto my finger with determined force. "Your wild imagination never fails to ambush me," he said with mirthless laughter. "I've never considered you a mistress. From our first date, you've always been my girlfriend. That contract was to protect your pride, to keep those meaningless debts from clouding what we had." Though clearly irritated, Jason spoke with deliberate clarity. My eyes widened in disbelief. All this time I'd seen him as my patron, hiding my feelings, while he genuinely viewed me as his partner. Amidst bystanders' roaring laughter, Jason pulled me into an embrace. His lips brushed my ear as he murmured, "But since you enjoy this dynamic so much, maybe we should explore it." I gasped, lower back already phantom-making. "Honey, Let me explain. Pet names allowed. Objection overruled. I pouted but happily nestled against him. The clues had been there all along, this aloof man who'd insisted on driving me home. Quietly settled my debts. Kept our photo on his desk. Secretly planned proposals while pretending nonchalance about this island getaway. Who embraced my goofy antics with affectionate tolerance. Grinning, I tightened my arms around Jason. I need to confess something. That day in your kitchen. I fell for you too. For the first time. Brilliant fireworks exploded in Jason's perpetually calm eyes. Breathtakingly beautiful. Epilogue. I've replayed my first encounter with Emily countless times. Exhausted from back-to-back corporate meetings. I'd been leaning against the kitchen counter when unfamiliar footsteps approached. A soft, wistful voice mused. If I stole this painting, I could probably afford platinum membership at the White Horse Club. I nearly choked on my water. Smothering amusement. I turned to see a delicate-looking woman, porcelain skin. Ink-black hair cascading over her shoulders, standing frozen mid-step. Remembering my mother mentioning hiring a tutor for my brother. I casually asked. The new tutor? Yes. Sir. She nodded demurely. Fingers nervously twisting her sweater hem, a far cry from the aspiring art thief who'd spoken moments earlier. I hummed in agreement, lowering my lashes to hide my amusement. Emily looked so innocent. Yet her personality was unexpectedly intriguing. So intriguing that I actually wanted to get to know her better. That's how I ended up offering to walk her back to campus. Again and again. She reminded me of a sensitive plant, poke her with teasing remarks and she'd instantly curl inward. Pretending meekness. Yet she'd occasionally blurt out shockingly bold statements before nervously backtracking. Once. I even stood up friends to escort her. Jason. My buddy spluttered during a later call. What's keeping you from our hangouts lately? Escorting my brother's tutor. You? Playing chauffeur? Don't tell me you're into that little teacher. My gaze caught the familiar silhouette ambling toward me. Maybe. I drawled. Maybe I was falling for her. So when loan sharks cornered her, I settled her debts without hesitation. Those red-rimmed eyes pierced me. Before I could stop myself, the words tumbled out, Emily. Consider the debt erased. But I want something in return, be my girlfriend. My mom's been nagging about marriage. You'd make her ecstatic. She blinked, agreeing yet insisting on repaying me. To preserve her pride, I had my assistant draft a dating contract, framing it as mutual convenience rather than obligation. We spent evenings binge-watching trashy reality shows. Her gradually repaying installments I'd immediately counter with lavish gifts. I thought we were building something real. Until the night I revealed my Maldives proposal plans. Wait. She stammered, eyes comically wide. You mean, this sugar baby situation could actually become legit? I barked, laughter tinged with disbelief. While I'd been playing devoted boyfriend, she'd first assumed I was gay, then labeled herself my kept woman. Her warped logic left me utterly bewildered. Amid our friends' raucous teasing, I pulled the mortified woman into my arms. Next morning, I marched her straight to City Hall. The dazed shock in her eyes finally cleared when I showed her what mattered most, the ring. And my unwavering heart.